Yo, what's going on, everybody? Straight out of Boston here, aka the King of Boston. Today we're back for episode 2 of my Indiana Pacers My League series here, and today I am going to be implementing the custom draft classes. I found a pretty good set here by the PS4 user online ID name of Dwayne Henry. I would highly recommend his. I talked about it before, but the thing I really don't like about a lot of these draft classes is the rookies are really, like, they're already upper 70s, 80s. These, I think the ratings are a lot more accurate, a lot more what they should be. And a couple guys in the upper 70s, mostly guys in the lower 70s. But anyway, let's kick it to Shaq.
The 2K Sports pregame show, presented by Sprite.
Hey everybody, welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm Ernie Johnson. I've got the legendary Shaquille O'Neal by my side. Tonight we'll be watching the Indiana Pacers playing against the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, for Milwaukee, they've only come out in front in one of their first 3 games so far, so a win tonight will be important to them, to be at 500 instead of 3 games under. You love giving nicknames, Shaq, and this guy's already got a couple. They call him the Greek Freak or the Alphabet, Giannis Antetokounmpo from Greece. What do you think of him?
Well, he's already drawing early comparisons to his idol, Kevin Durant, but we need to ease up on that. We don't want to put too much pressure on the young fella because he's not the scorer that KD is. But his size, athleticism, and his guard skills are reminiscent to what KD does.
So do you have anything in mind? I mean, Greek Freak, the Alphabet. What do you think? Is there another name for Giannis Antetokounmpo?
How about Yanni?
Ooh. That has a kind of a melodious feel to it.
Yanni.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about that, Kevin Harlan?
So that pregame thing is not something I plan on putting in every video because it is a little lengthy, but I thought it was pretty cool, and obviously it's new to the to 2K this year. And I thought it was interesting. They had the whole thing on Giannis Antetokounmpo, or Yanni, whatever Shaq was calling him. I found that to be pretty funny. I didn't, usually when 2K puts stuff in like that, it's usually pretty vanilla and very repetitive. But I don't know, maybe those things could actually be interesting. So here's our first possession. It results in a Rodney Stuckey 3, but we got off to a really slow start this game. Fair warning, I'm not trying to make excuses or anything, but I played pretty terribly this game, and you guys have to understand that I really have, the only time I've played 2K15, I've played maybe 3 or 4 online games against friends, and then I've played a handful of my player games. But other than that, I've really not played any 2K, and because I've not really played any 2K since, I don't know, over the summer, and it has just been a while, so it was a little bit of an adjustment, but I did pick it up in the second half. But we got off to a bit of a slow start here. We're down 28-15. We are going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. They're without Jabari Parker and Kendall Marshall. They actually make appearances at the end of the video. I don't know what really happened, but in like garbage time in the last 30 seconds, both the Marshall and Parker got in, and then we also had CJ Watson come in, even though Watson is out for another week or so with, I think, an ankle sprain or something like that. But anyway, we were without George Hill, David West, CJ Watson, and obviously Paul George. I wanted to play one game before we got all our guys healthy because, boy, this team is such crap without without guys like David West and George Hill, and those guys in and of themselves are really not going to fix the team. But anyway, I guess in the beginning stages of all my associations and my GMs and stuff, I do like to sort of talk a lot about how I envision, or where I envision a lot of these players going. And I do look at this team, and I looked at the starting lineup and thought, well, this is actually a really good second unit, I think. Not Hibbert. I think Hibbert's a starting caliber center, at least in this game. And I'm not sure what we're going to do with Hibbert. I'm still sort of undecided on whether we're going to keep him, trade him, let him walk in free agency, see what happens. But I look at a guy like Donald Sloan. I think Stuckey could be like a 6th man type. Maybe he's not quite good enough, but in that sort of role, I could see Chris Copeland being a shooter off the bench. I could see just guys that we have on this team in roles with this team for the future, but certainly not starting caliber roles. But anyway. So, like I said, I think Donald Sloan and Rodney Stuckey can both be creators off the bench. I think we have some good shooters on this team. I really like Damon Rudez. who I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. I don't think I did, but he was signed, I believe, from Spain in the offseason by the Pacers. He got a 3-year contract, and he didn't play a ton this game, but when he did play, I did like what I got out of him. So I don't know. I think he could. I might start him over Copeland in one of the upcoming games. I'm not really sure. But here's the halftime report. These are a little nice graphic. I think I'll probably use this in a lot of the videos to quickly recap how the first half has gone. But anyway, yeah, we are getting pretty dominated. We made a little bit of a run there at the end of the second quarter, got it down to 11, and that's kind of what I was talking about, getting a little bit, or I guess I should just say getting better at this game as it went along. But here's Hibbert in the post. He had a pretty tough matchup against Larry Sanders this game. Sanders is a pretty good defensive center. Obviously, he's been pretty devalued over the last 12 months or so just because of some stuff that's happened off the court, and his play did diminish a little bit last year on the court, but he is still pretty good defensively, and he's a tough matchup for Hibbert, although Hibbert should be able to overpower him a little bit, but still, Sanders is not easily overpowered by anyone, quite frankly. And there's Ersan Ilyasova hitting a 3, and this Bucks team is pretty feisty this year. Didn't really get to showcase their full team because they do have Jabari Parker in real life, obviously, and I think they still have Kendall Marshall. I'm not sure if he got waived or not, but anyway, yeah, the Bucks are, I think, 8-6 or something like that right now. They're looking pretty decent, and it's another one of those teams that I thought about rebuilding, but I also sort of thought, you know, kind of had their direction, had their plan. It would have been a little too simple. I mean, you have Jabari, you have Giannis, you could maybe move Sanders, but really, I think if you're going to build a front court with Giannis, who's not a point guard, and anyone, I don't get the idea of people wanting him to play point guard. I think just because Jason Kidd tried it out in Summer League, people sort of got this idea that he could actually do it, which I don't really think he can, but he does have sort of guard-like skills that he can handle the ball a little bit, but I think he's equally valuable doing that at the 3 or the 4. But, I mean, you can have your front court around Parker, Giannis, and a defensive center, so I know last year they thought about trading Sanders for Brook Lopez, but I think that was Jason Kidd trying to get Larry Sanders to Brooklyn. Now Jason Kidd is in Milwaukee, so I see them keeping Sanders, and I think you can build around that front court of Sanders, Giannis, and Jabari. And, you know, you got to get, I don't know what's going to happen with OJ Mayo. Maybe he bounces back. His contract's pretty untradeable at this point. Brandon Knight is a nice young player. I don't really like him as much as a lot of people do just because the stats are pretty good this year. I think he's putting up like 16 or 17 a game, but I think he put up like 17 a game last year too, but I think that was some good stats, bad team stuff that you see out of teams like the Bucks. But anyway, Brandon Knight's alright. I think he's more maybe a guard off the bench, like an energy guy off the bench or something like that. But I do like this Bucks team. I think they're you know, maybe a couple players away from really I mean, in the East anything can happen, so I don't know. But here's Hibbert hitting a little jumper over Sanders, but you can see Milwaukee's open up the gap again as they've gotten it back up to, what is this, 18 now. After that little offensive rebound and put back by Ilyasova, it's going to be up to 20. Only about 4.5 minutes left or so in this fourth quarter, so as you can see, this game is pretty much all wrapped up. I didn't really talk too much about the team, but one thing I do want to say is I'm not planning on playing too many games in Season 1. I do have sort of a limited time to try and get this series in. I mean, I'm sort of planning on posting this like mostly every day because I don't have a huge time frame before I go back to school in January, but at the same time I don't want to bore myself with 2K or anything, and so I am gonna probably speed this up a little bit in the first season. I don't want to stretch it out too much. There's not really a point. We were 0-3 coming into this game and got our doors blown, so don't really expect much out of this season, quite frankly, and maybe I'll only do like 5 or 6 gameplays, whereas I usually do 10 maybe in a season. But this was also on 12-minute quarters. I think I'm going to bump it down to 10. I was playing 10 in my career for a while, and then bumped it up to 12 when I realized the scores were a little too low. But for this, maybe just the way I play MyLeague, association games, whatever, I might be better suited for 10-minute quarters. So I'll probably do that for the next episode. We'll see how it goes. One more thing, if you guys have any slider suggestions, and I'm not really talking about gameplay sliders. I've never really delved into any 2K gameplay sliders, but more for the MyLeague settings, like the trade frequencies and all that stuff. If you guys have heard of any good sets or whatever, you can recommend any from personal experience, I would be glad to take some suggestions in the comment section below. But that wraps up this game. You see we lose 118-96, and the big reason, I'm not concerned about the points when I talk about turning the quarters down, but you look at the shots, they got 99 field goal attempts. That's like 15 to 20 more than the league average. So yeah, we need to fix that. But anyway, take a look at the box score as well. Copeland had an okay game, 16 points, 15 shots. Stuckey, same sort of thing, but Sloan was pretty bad. I kind of like Donald Sloan. I think he, like I said, I think he can be a guard off the bench. But check out this plus minuses. All those guys were minus 20, minus 30. And here's the box score. Giannis had a pretty good game. Actually, well, I shouldn't say that. He has like a plus 30, but yeah, Ilyasova and Mayo really carry them. So that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you did enjoy. Doesn't matter. Peace. Oh, and have a happy Thanksgiving, because I think that's when this video is going up. So, happy Thanksgiving.